Welcome to Personal Development Mastery Podcast, and this is another snippet of wisdom where I select my favorite, most insightful moments from previous episodes. Today I have selected for you a snippet from my conversation with Martin O'Toole, author of the book How to Die Happy. It is about presence, being in the present moment, the power of now. I trust that you will find it insightful.
Now, I'm not a guru. I'm not an enlightened being. I'm not a coach. I'm not a PhD. I'm a man on the mend, as you said earlier on. Ultimately, I would say I am an expert in suffering. I'd say I'm an expert in self-suffering as well, co-created suffering, as most of us are if we're willing to accept that we are actually co-responsible for the lion's share of our suffering. But the point is, this is the treasure, and if we can get our head around this particular wisdom, this is the key, the absolute key to unlocking a lot of this mystery. So, if Buddha says attachment is the root of all suffering, then we have to ask ourselves, well, what is attachment then? Well, I think we've discussed that now, and that is the idea of clinging on to things. But we've also identified that all things are in a state of flux, a state of change. They are impermanent. So by that rationale, is it wise to cling on to something that we know is going to change? Nay, it might end. It might change to the point of ending. So if we can fully grasp impermanence as a universal constant, then we can change our relationship with everything around us. We must realize that all things are going to change or end. Therefore, we cannot cling to them. And it's in the clinging that the suffering, where the suffering is born. So we've to try to reframe everything we think we know about our relationship with everything in our world. And we've to stop clinging to them. We can connect, of course. You know, I'm talking about your husband or your wife here as well right now, or even your children, you know. And of course, some people might say, oh, you know, talked about my children dying, but they're going to. So we must have that conversation, because if we keep shutting ourselves down every time we start to have this conversation, then we will never, ever grow individually or collectively. What's the point, you may ask? Well, the point is really simple, and you already alluded to it at the beginning of this conversation, Aggie. If we can do all of that stuff that I just suggested, and I know it's not a 10-minute job, it's a task. There's a lot of work that has to go into this. Then suddenly we become present. We become grateful and aware for the absolute bliss in the present moment. You know, I always say, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗥𝗖𝗘 said, one conscious breath is a meditation. Now, people constantly say to me, I can't meditate. And I respect that, because I remember being in that place myself a fair few years back. And I remember being angry with myself because I couldn't meditate, because I couldn't be still, because I couldn't be at peace. But then you think about 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗥𝗖𝗘's wisdom. What happened just then? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I wasn't thinking about anything. You might have been thinking, what the hell's Martin doing? And maybe the audience was. But maybe some people actually caught the breath as well and went, oh yeah, that's nice. Let's do that. Let's have a conscious breath. So that right there is presence. It's what 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗥𝗖𝗘 refers to as the power of now. And it's what mindfulness teachers for thousands of years have referred to as nowness. So if we can stop regretting the past, we can stop worrying about fractal futures that incidentally are likely not even to happen, then what have we got left? We've got now. So who am I right now? How do I feel right now? Actually, I feel great. I'm having a fantastic conversation with you, and I'm hoping that this is helpful for other people. And you know, I'm now living the rest of my life in service to others. So I want this sort of stuff to help people to reframe their perspective on life. But in this moment, I am in flow state. I am accepting. I am aware. I am present, and I'm grateful. Now, of course, when we start to think about all of those things, and then you play back your top 10 regrets, start to ask yourself, okay, hang on a minute. Am I grateful for my parents? Yes, I am. Hang on a minute. In that list of regrets, I've written, I would regret that I hadn't spoken to my dad for 12 months because we fell out over the most petty thing possible, for example. So these are the exercises that we should be doing to learn this wonderful thing of presence, of nowness, and then to apply it to our world around us. And that is living well. And that's ultimately the point. Now, if you manage to do all of that in a day, doesn't matter, actually. Doesn't matter, because even if you did one of those things in a day, then that's one less regret. So, but if you did manage to fix a load of these things in a day, imagine how much progress you just made for you and for those close to you. And of course, there are many, many beautiful byproducts as a result of this work. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. You know, the ripple effect carries on and on and on. So anyway, I rambled on there. I apologize. I was on my soapbox about presence.
Thank you for listening. You will find the full conversation with Martin O'Toole in episodes 316, 317. The links are in the episode description. If you enjoy this podcast, can you think of one person that would find it useful and share it with them? I appreciate it. Until next time, stand out, don't fit in,